a good chunk of the Wii library has been ported over to other consoles. Skyward Sword has now been ported over to the Nintendo Switch. Something like Sonic Colors has now been ported to everything now. It's on everything. So the Wii does not have that many games that I would say are still stuck on it, that are Wii exclusive. There's still a couple on there. You know, you could throw in something like maybe, well, I don't want to spoil about, you know, well, what we're going to get into. But, you know, you can throw in a couple of them here for games that are still stuck on the Wii, which is what we're going to go through. We're going to go through some games that are still stuck on the Wii that I think should be brought over to other consoles and freed from the Wii purgatory. As much as a great system as the Wii is, I think it's time we get a lot of these games, you know, out more. So the first one we're going to talk about is Castlevania Judgment. Castlevania Judgment, if you can't tell, is a spin-off of the Castlevania series. What is Castlevania Judgment, you may ask? It's a fighting game. You heard me, it's a Castlevania fighting game, and it features characters from multiple different Castlevania games. It's got an original character called Aeon, who is I believe he's the main character for this game. This is like such a great idea. A fighting game with Castlevania characters. Like, that's amazing. You already see how people really like playing as the Belmonts in Smash. Now it's like a straight up fighting game, like a Mortal Kombat type, right? Like, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I completely do not understand why this is still on the Wii. Again, it just seems like a no-brainer doing a fighting game with Castlevania characters, and there was one. And from what I can tell, this is the only fighting game Castlevania has ever had, which is mind-boggling. Maybe it just didn't do well. But I think this is cool enough that you could bring this over to other consoles for a port. Castlevania is doing a lot of collections recently. They just had a collection where they took all the GBA games and put them on in a collection. So I think it would be cool for them to do a port of Castlevania Judgment, just spruce up the graphics a little bit. People would play it. Damn sure people would play it. Because I guarantee there's some people who are Castlevania fans don't even know this exists, which is a shame. But this just seems like a no-brainer. Since it's a fighting game, you don't have to rely on Wii controls that much. So, you know, I would definitely like to see Castlevania Judgment brought back. Now, getting to games that do require kind of the Wii remote controls. The first one is Dragon Quest Swords. This is a spin-off of Dragon Quest, and it is an on-rails first-person shooter. Yes. Now, the thing is, instead of it being a first-person on-rail shooting game, you actually use a sword and shield. That is... It's an interesting idea, I would definitely say. Now, like most Dragon Quest games, this actually has a story mode and everything, so this is, like, straight up a game. For something like this, I can understand what the appeal was. It's like you're actually using a sword and shield on the Wii. I can understand that. If this is going to get ported anywhere, Switch 2 is most likely. If you still want to have that whole, you know, oh, you're controlling, you know, the sword on your own when you swing, then then the Switch with its gyro controls is probably the best bet for you, I would definitely say. But even then, you could just port this over to other games and just have it be a first-person, you know, adventure, like Skyrim or something, right? Like, this would work, or Oblivion, right? Like, this would work. And I mean, we all know Dragon Quest. I'm all for just more Dragon Quest games happening in general. So, yeah, I think this can work being ported over. But if you still want to do, like, the whole, oh, you control with the sword all thing, then yeah, Switch 2 is your best bet. There is no game over in this game. When you die, you just return to town and you lose half your money and all the new items you got. But you still keep your experience. I think we should fix that, and there's a game over system, please. No game journalist mode. Absolutely. Another game that kind of relied on motion controls was Trauma Center. I one of the main reasons I want Trauma Center out is it's an Atlas game, and I'm a fucking Atlas shill. I love Atlas so much, and yeah, I am all for Atlas games coming out. So Trauma Center is like a surgery simulator game, is pretty much how it works, but it's an Atlas game as well, so there's also character moments and all that that you go with. So in like the gameplay, you have like a first person simulating like a surgery thing, and you're on a time limit. There is like you have like a power called the healing touch, right? So you can heal people. And it operates from like, treating wounds to pulling something out, right? Or you have like organ transplants and bones. So maybe this wouldn't be for the weak of heart, but like an Atlas game, there is like, visual novel style segments where you learn about characters and all that type of stuff. This one on the Wii, Trauma Center Second Opinion, is a remake of the original game, which was Trauma Center Under the Knife, which was on the DS. So at this point, I don't know if we need, like, will we get a new Trauma Center, or would we just get a remake or a remaster of this one, right? Because after Second Opinion was New Blood, which also is on the Wii, right, which is the third release. And then there was Under the Knife 2, which is the fourth entry, and it is a direct sequel to Second Opinion, right? And then there was a fifth release back in 2010. So that's the last time Trauma Center had anything, was 2010. So over 10 years ago. We're getting on to like almost 16 years of Trauma Center not having a thing. Was Trauma Team. So, at this point, I think the best bet is if we're going to do something with Trauma Center, we would probably do a bundle of Second Opinion and Under the Knife 2. Maybe New Blood as well. Probably that one as well. I would definitely say. Just a big Trauma Center, maybe bundle or something, right? All the games were on the Wii, right? So like the entire Trauma Center series is just stuck on the Wii. And so they are, I guess it's kind of like a Nintendo exclusive, I guess you could say. A Nintendo exclusive Atlas series. I would love for that not to be Nintendo exclusive, please. And you just have a Trauma Center collection, 4-game collection that goes out to all platforms, and we just have the Trauma Center collection. And then if it does well, we get Trauma Center 6. Technically it would be Trauma Center 5, because Second Opinion has now taken the place of Under the Knife, even though the sequel is called Under the Knife 2. It's weird. But yeah, I'd like the Trauma Center games. I definitely play them. Absolutely. It's Atlas. Anything Atlas, I'm gonna try, right? So I would at least try it. If we don't want to do the whole Trauma Center series, at least Second Opinion I would bring over so people can try it. And then we have, these two games, they definitely need to be brought over. They are part of Operation Rainfall, Pandora's Tower, and The Last Story. Operation Rainfall, for those who don't know, was a big movement to bring 3 games that were Japanese exclusives over to the West, which was Pandora's Tower, The Last Story, and Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, we all know what's happened to Xenoblade. Xenoblade's gone on to be the greatest thing Nintendo's ever done. But Pandora's Tower and The Last Story are still sadly stuck on the Wii. Xenoblade has been ported. The entire Xenoblade collection is on Switch, right? So that's fine. So Xenoblade is readily available for people. And Xenoblade has the OG on the Wii, and then there was a port of Xenoblade from the Wii to the new 3DS. But Pandora's Tower and The Lost Story are still stuck on the Wii, which is a shame after all the work and that Operation Rainfall did to bring them over. They've just kind of now been forgotten, and now Operation Rainfall is really only known for Xenoblade, which is great. I'm always happy about that, right? But I would love to be able to play the other 2 games for Operation Rainfall. I want to see what made these games so beloved that people wanted it over, right? I know how Xenoblade did it, right? I want to see what Pandora's Tower and The Lost Story brought to the table, to see why there was that, fan backlash for not bringing them over, right? Why that movement started, right? Now, the last story was co-written, by Hironobu Sakaguchi, who is the original creator of Final Fantasy. He had this idea after he saw the mixed response to Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, which sucks. I like both those games. Forget it, man. I like both those games. God damn it. So yeah, a bunch of Final Fantasy staff was on the last story. And if we go to Pandora's Tower, right over here, Pandora's Tower, I don't know if there was, like, you know, any people on this game who were, you know, like, big last story about Final Fantasy stuff, but Pandora's Tower does have multiple endings. There's 6 possible endings, that's always good for replay value. Pretty fucking good. Pretty fucking good. You know, I would safely say having multiple endings is always good. I definitely want to play these, though, right? Like, come on, man. Like, I absolutely want to play this. Trying to find a copy of Pandora's Tower in the last story, you sell your firstborn child at that point, right? Like, good fucking luck. Finding a copy of Xenoblade for the Switch is much easier. I would even say finding a copy of Xenoblade for the Wii is much easier than finding a copy of these two. Also, Pandora's Tower's got a black Wii border, and that's fucking sweet. Alright, it's like when Mario and Sonic have the yellow border for no reason other than it just differentiates them, and it's fucking cool. So for that reason alone, Pandora's Tower is sweet. Yeah, I definitely want to play these stories. I'm a big JRPG nutball, and I definitely want to see the other 2 parts of Operation Rainfall. Absolutely. Now moving on to a Nintendo exclusive, right? Like, now we're going like a Nintendo IP, I guess. Kirby's Epic Yarn. I love Kirby's Epic Yarn. It's such a cozy, fun little game. It's not difficult in the slightest. It is just real cozy fun. It's the type of game you play when you want to play a video game, but you don't want to stress out about anything. You play some Kirby's Epic Yarn. And Kirby's super cute. He like lends himself to this beautifully. Now there was a port of it to the 3DS, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn. But from what I was told, because I haven't played that port, from what I'm told, it's like, it's fine. It's just more of the same, really. They add some extra stuff, but because you can't really die in, you know, Epic Yarn, it's just kind of just more of an annoyance, you know? So I would like to see Kirby's Epic Yarn ported over to the Switch. That would be a lot of fun. We had technically a sequel to Epic Yarn was Rainbow Curse. So, you know, I would definitely like to see Epic Yarn, though, brought back. You know, do we get, like, you know, a new Epic Yarn game? Maybe, but I would just prefer you to port over Epic Yarn, because that's just going to be a cozy, fun game that, like, kids are going to eat that up. And all us Kirby fans, you know, we'll buy it. You know we'll buy it. It's just fun. Kirby lends himself to, like, cutesy little games like this, so I'd really like to see Epic Yarn brought over. I had a great time playing Epic Yarn on my Wii. It's just a fun, cozy game, and I'd like to see it brought over, be more accessible. And then finally, I'm gonna end off. You know it had to happen. I gotta talk about Sonic the Hedgehog, the storybook games, Sonic and the Secret Rings, and Sonic and the Black Knight. God damn, man, we gotta bring these games over. Now, here's the thing. The big problem with Secret Rings, especially, we'll go into these individually. The big problem with Secret Rings, especially, is the gameplay. So Sonic just runs on his own, and then you kind of control him, right? Like, that's kind of how it works. Like, maybe you jump, right? But it's kind of like he's like an endless running thing, right? Which sucks. Now, thankfully, there is a fan project called Reignition, which is seeking to fix this. And when Reignition is fully finished, you can be damn sure I'm going to play that. But just like how we have things like, you know, Unleashed Recompiled, and with it kind of looking like Sega might be doing, you know, an Unleashed Remaster, why not just have Sega just, you know, I think it'd be nice for you to just port it over. You know, same thing with Black Knight. Black Knight is seen by many people, myself included, as the last time Sonic team was like it's an end of an era. It really is, because after that, Jason Griffith was gone, and the writing stopped being done in Japan. Really, it really is the last true time we saw Japanese Sonic in a video game. You know, you can, like, because then we just had Pontac writing, right, with Colors and Generations and Forces and Lost World. It was like, oh god, we entered the meta era. While I think Frontier Story is great, it is not a Japanese story. It was written in by Ian Flynn. You know, it's not a Japanese story. While I love that story, it's not a Japanese story. And while Sonic is better characterized than he had been in years, again, he was not Japanese Sonic. Japanese Sonic kind of went away in the games after Black Knight, which is a shame. And like I said, it's the end of an era, because a lot of that cast went away after Black Knight, which is a shame. And Black Knight is much better controls than Secret Rings does. It's still wonky because it's Wii. It's the Wii, so it's still wonky, but it's better. It's much better. The story of the game is fantastic. I love the story of the game. It really just, oh my god, Sonic in that game is fucking amazing. The soundtrack is great. We have an iconic song in Night of the Wind, in Will to Fight the Night, With Me. You know, like, there's so many great things about Sonic and the Black Knight that I sadly think a lot of currently modern Sonic fans, like the newer ones, don't know about. Or they don't pay attention to it because it's a sub-series on the Wii, you know, which is a shame. And the whole idea of the storybook series is such a cool idea of taking Sonic characters and putting them in, like, actual, like, stories, right? Because Secret Rings was Sonic being in the Arabian Nights, and then Black Knight was the Arthurian legend. And there's been so many people who are like, oh, I'd love for them to do Sonic, you know, in Greek mythology, or Sonic in Rome with the Romans, you know, or like, oh, I'd love to see Sonic go maybe to, like, you know, Atlantis or Olympus, you know, like, oh, it'd be so cool. There's so many stories that Sonic could go into and they could take inspiration from, and then just, you know, insert the characters in. Like, fans have so many ideas for, like, a third storybook game. I don't think we're going to get a third storybook game. I think this series is sadly done and dusted. But for the very least, Sega, you could just create a collection, the Sonic Storybook series, and port that over to consoles. At the very least, you could do that and, you know, change the fucking motion controls, because god, I hate motion controls. Make it, you know, controllers, and fix it so that way in Secret Rings we don't have to have Sonic on an endless runner. Basically do what Project Reignition is doing for Secret Rings, and just put that on consoles, essentially, is what I'm asking. But there we go. That is Wii games that I think I'd like to see on more consoles, and get them off the Wii so they are not in Wii hell. Let me know what games you have that you would love to see moved from the Wii onto, you know, different consoles, escape from the Wii purgatory, in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys all next time.